What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merten here from DataDash, and today is March 3rd of 2025. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are, because in today's video, I've got to do a little bit of a rant and rave. We have got to spend some time to talk about the U.S. Crypto Strategic Reserve that was posted about last night and re-referenced again by the president on his Truth Social account, that stated that they're going to look to include XRP, Solana, ADA, and later have clarified, of course, what we probably already knew, that they're going to be adding Bitcoin and Ethereum as well as other valuable cryptocurrencies. So while I want to spend some time in this video to share my opinion, because I think this opinion is relevant for the longer term picture, I'm also going to tell you guys how you can, in practical terms, navigate this in the short term. So we're going to be diving into all this and more as we go throughout today's video. If you happen to enjoy, consider dropping a like. Grab a cup of coffee because it's about to get spicy. I got some things I got to share with you guys. So you probably from these two tweets have picked up all the relevant information that we need to consider here. Obviously, the name dropped assets that are looking to be included right away, not to mention the exploration potentially of other altcoins, which has left the market in generally more positive sentiment, especially versus a week ago. We can see here as well that the overall prediction markets for a Bitcoin reserve, this is just specifically for Bitcoin, when it comes to Poly market, has jumped up from 42% all the way up to 63%. So a majority likelihood that we are going to see this. But I want to go ahead here and talk about the key price action dynamic that you guys need to keep in mind here, which is that obviously we went from feeling like the world was ending to, well, we're right back to where we were, back to square one. And I want to make it very clear here, guys, that when you watch my videos here, and also when you watch Paul and Casi or anyone on this channel, even including Ryan as well, when we're talking about the market here, it is important to understand that for myself especially, I will not tell you guys to try to go short the market down here at the 200-day, nor would I tell you guys to go long at new all-time highs here when we've been shopping sideways, like many were recommending back here at the beginning of the administration in the 20th of January in 2025. So I'm not here to tell you guys to try to be too directional in the market and try to take any leverage or overexposure in positions. What I want you all to be aware of is that the chop is real. The uncertainty is real at these levels. We want to trade when there is a clear trend formation after a healthy pullback. Because as we saw here throughout 2024 for multiple months, that chop can really mess up a lot of people. It can confuse a lot of traders. And I think we're seeing very similar price action. The deviation below the 200-day, whipsawing back up towards the prior resistance range. That could very well be playing out right here as we speak. So I don't want you guys to be trading too much at these levels here, right? At the end of the day, if you've de-sized or de-risked on your positions, then probably stick to that, right? Until you get better trend confirmation, until we start making multiple higher lows in the 21-day and really showcase the ability to spring up, right? If we can't do that here, then you might still be on the right end of the trade, right? So I just want you guys to keep that in mind here. And if you are in crypto positions and you felt like you wanted to sell some back here, maybe consider selling a little bit as we've had this nice bump up. Being in a position where you were much better back a week ago when prices were much higher here, right? Don't forget where you were just less than 48 to 72 hours ago. I think there's important remarks to be shared for both sides of whether or not you feel the long-term goal is that Bitcoin's going higher or that we're going much lower in the near term. Now, that all being said, another resource I want you guys to keep in mind is if you haven't already, follow some of the other traders that we have here on the DataDash channel. We've recently brought on Casi and Paul, who've been doing a phenomenal job breaking down the market, using a lot of really fresh tools and perspectives that I tend to admire when it comes to analysis. But essentially, at the end of the day, Casi has been really smart about focusing on these key Fibonacci retracements and utilizing the RSI and a means of trying to spot divergences in order to spot potential rebounds in the market, entry points and exit points that are very vital when it comes to the TA side. And outside of that as well, Paul has been doing some phenomenal analysis. Just a couple days ago, he did a really great video talking about the key things that he utilizes, like the Fibonacci retracement as well as the quarterly pivot line, which we did see a retest of and has really served as a powerful tool here in order for Paul and Casi to be able to really get some great calls on the market over the last couple days. They have been really spot on the more short-term time analysis. So if that's what you're looking for, definitely check them out, guys. Give them a chance. And who knows, you might like them just as much as you do me. If you guys love my videos here on this channel, I think you're also going to really love what they put out as well. And they're putting out routine weekly content to help you guys navigate markets even better. Now, that all being said, considering the increased chop and uncertainty in the market, considering the additional analysis that we have here on the channel that I think could help go a long way for you guys, it's now time to get down to the spicy stuff. It's time to get down to the tea, the drama, the opinions here that I think, to be honest, as much as I would love to just say, it's my opinion and then we go about our day, I think this is really something that needs to be factored in for the long-term potential of crypto. And just maybe not the potential of crypto, but like where the industry is going. After the announcement of this strategic reserve, there had actually been some rumors floating around for a while. There's a really noticeable position size build on some of the exchanges in the crypto space where the day before the announcement, there was a leveraged long on Ethereum and Bitcoin. It was a massive position size on 50x leverage, very high risk of liquidation that was built on the exchanges. And it just so happens that the day after, we get this big announcement of a strategic reserve. Now, there is no confirmation about who built this position here, but this tells me very clearly that it is more likely than not that someone had insider information on this. Now, is that something entirely new? No. But this is a broader theme that I'm seeing here with the current administration when it comes to crypto. And this is, again, completely irrespective of Trump at the end of the day. This is not me bashing Trump. It's not me coming in as someone who's, like on the opposition party or something, trying to bash Trump or anything the Trump administration does. In fact, this actually doesn't have to really do with politics. It doesn't have to do with trade wars. It doesn't have to do with foreign policy. It has nothing to do with economic policy or other various different types of government initiatives in order to fix various problems, right? This has to do with the pure practical nature of a strategic crypto reserve. Now, obviously, this is subjective for everyone. Some people feel that this is a really great thing. Some who may be positioned in the market obviously would love to see a strategic crypto reserve that buys up a large amount of crypto. But I want to go ahead and talk about this from practical terms, guys, because this, to me, when I read this post here from Truth Social, this does not come across to me that this is Trump making this decision here, nor him making this post. This, to me, even though he may be supportive of the idea, right? This feels to me like a group of people who have, in fact, infiltrated the administration to some extent, who have essentially taken upon this opportunity of the Trump administration being pro-crypto in order to enrich themselves. And I can tell you that the reason why I feel this way is that essentially there is no particular reason to mention XRP, Solana, and ADA in a tweet like this for the strategic reserve. In fact, if the president really was going about this in a serious way, if the administration was actually serious about this, they wouldn't be name dropping cryptocurrencies well before there's any serious decision of a strategic reserve, both for the interest of getting a better entry point in the strategic reserve, but beyond that as well, from a pure professional PR standpoint. You do not go out there announcing what altcoins you're going to do, let alone then having to redact and basically add Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is a clear, rushed out debacle from a lot of insiders who are looking to essentially unload their bags on you. If you want my candid take on it, guys. And there's a serious conversation we had about having a Bitcoin strategic reserve. But to be honest, this whole move of including XRP and ADA, when you consider that Brad Garlinghouse as well as Charles Hoskinson have gotten real cozy with the administration, yet are really not seeing the kind of mass adoption that I think is being claimed around these assets. This is just pay-for-play politics, guys, and it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong, in my opinion. And I'm sorry to get so heated about this, but as someone who, at the end of the day, there's a lot of really cool things, I think, coming out of the administration. I'm very interested in cutting government waste. I'm totally all about increasing transparency, shutting down foreign wars, however we're going to do it. I'm totally down for all these things. And I absolutely could have a open conversation about whether or not we need to have a Bitcoin strategic reserve. I don't think we need to have an entire basket of random altcoins. This is not of strategic importance to the United States by any stretch of the imagination. This does not put us in any different footing with China or with Russia or with Europe to have a crypto strategic reserve. We need to step back and really realize that while we may love crypto, this is just purely insider activity to drum up the assets that are held by the people who are in this administration. And maybe to put it another way, to kind of put this in a fresh perspective and make it very clear that I'm not here to really bash crypto. Why stop at a crypto strategic reserve? I mean, if we think that XRP and ADA and Solana are very valuable assets for the United States to have exposure to, why don't we start buying up Apple shares? I mean, think about it. Apple is not only one of the largest mobile phone manufacturers in the world, not to mention they have a lot of footing in China. We want to make sure we have a strategic alliance and financial investment and leverage over Apple as a company versus China or any other potential national security threats. We got to make sure we have a serious footing there. Not to mention NVIDIA. Why don't we start buying up a lot of NVIDIA shares? We wouldn't want NVIDIA getting on the wrong side of the chip manufacturing war between the United States and China. Now, would we? No, instead of buying NVIDIA, instead of buying Apple, companies that generate real revenue, that have real significant value add to the world for a variety of different use cases, no. Instead, we're talking about adding XRP, Solana, and ADA. And I'm not here to really bash communities, guys. I'm not here to tell you guys your assets aren't worth anything. Clearly, there's market value. You can go trade them now. Any of you guys using XRP for payments? Any banks that you're currently banking with that are using XRP's Ripple Labs technology to be able to provide financial rails? Anything beyond pump.fun, that's on Solana. Ooh, that's a real national security interest. Great thing to be associated with, pump.fun launches. Really great. What about ADA? Cardano, project that's been in the works for years now. Using any applications this week? Just checking in with you guys here. There's a lot of people out there who are going to be extremely euphoric about this. And all to them. I'll let them view it the way they want to view it. This to me looks just like pure corruption. I think it is fair to say, if we are going to sit here and point to the corruption that was going on in the federal government, where billions upon billions of dollars were being sent to, handshake, backdoor agreements for wasteful or fraudulent programs, we cannot sit here and then turn around with a straight face and say that we are going to ask the general public to spend their taxpayer dollars to buy the bags of Ripple Labs, IOHK, and all the VCs who bought up Solana on the cheap after the FTX bankruptcy, only to drum it up, run multiple rug pulls and scams on the chain, driving up volume and activity, and then dumping the underlying Solana position on the public. No, thank you. That, in my opinion, is shameful. And it doesn't really have to do with where you stand on the political spectrum. It should be something that I think anybody with 2 cents can look at and say, wow, maybe that's not what we should do. And maybe this has gone a bit too far. Maybe it sets a really bad precedent. Even if you're exposed to the crypto industry, but as a citizen, as a standing individual, you can look at this and go, man, you know what? Maybe we're taking it a little too far. I really kind of match with this cat here. It's like, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. Even if I were, extremely bullish on the crypto industry long term, and I do believe Bitcoin will go up and to the right, I still love this industry for a lot of reasons, but I also am going to point out its ugly sides. And I think that the important thing to really realize here, this is the good news, is that this might have played a role in moving Bitcoin's price here in the short term. It might be a part of the entire crypto industry in the long run. At the end of the day, this doesn't really change anything. Bitcoin has found its place, and there will always be altcoins, until maybe there's one day of a flush out in the industry. Maybe this is an early stage of the end, for altcoins, the kind of desperate need for the federal government to come in and buy them. Look, the case in point here I want to bring up is that at the end of the day, crypto is going to be here, guys. I'm not here to talk negative about the industry. It will exist always in some fashion. And there is a place for, I think, Bitcoin and maybe some other cryptocurrencies out there. But it doesn't mean that the federal government needs to use taxpayer dollars to buy it. It is not that much of strategic importance. Bitcoin, maybe we can talk about it, right? Especially if we can print our own money. Maybe in that case it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense for the wide range of altcoins that are supposedly being considered. There's just not enough being built on them. They have no weight on the world stage right now. They could be easily duplicated tomorrow, and no one would bat an eye. No one would bat an eye. In fact, we already have seen that in many ways. Many new altcoins coming up with the exact same thing. what I recommend doing is focusing on the basics. Focus on dollar cost averaging. Focus on buying into fear, but also not being overexposed. Having that slow passive approach to the assets that have been time tested, that you don't have to trust in, that you don't require the government coming in and buying up in order to drum up its price. And that's why I really want to spend some time to talk about our partner on this channel, BitDCA. Now, unlike a lot of people out there who are telling you to go out and massively leverage trade in the market and will likely put you in a position where you're going to get liquidated and lose everything, we're here partnering with BitDCA because BitDCA is focused through its Little Bit application on allowing you to build up micro savings in Bitcoin with every single purchase passively DCAing into the market. So essentially through the Little Bit app, you're able to go out with your debit card, spend money as you please at any major merchant retailer. And as you're spending money in the app, you can have an allocated additional charge that you'll have on any purchase you make that will go straight into the Little Bit app to purchase more Bitcoin. Now, we did some really great videos on this. If you guys are interested, Ryan put out a video back a couple of days ago, probably about a week or so ago, talking about this kind of millionaire strategy, how dollar cost averaging can really help you build up financial wealth over the long run. But I just wanted to let you guys know that they just recently launched on Casi for their native altcoin. And what's cool about this is that at the end of the day, this is a real functioning application. The core token is a utility token within the platform, a full ecosystem token that benefits from the growth of the Little Bit app through the fees that are collected. And outside of that as well, comes with a wide range of benefits within the application, so similar to loyalty points. So I definitely think you guys should check it out here if you're looking for a place to get started in crypto that isn't going to leave you losing everything off of the short-term volatility. It's not going to be chasing those short-term moves, but rather focusing on the long-term substantial moves. So if you guys are interested, definitely check them out at the link down below in the description. For me, when it comes to the BitDCA token, I'm watching to see, so long as this holds on that 9-hour EMA and the 4-hour time frame. You guys know this, our momentum strategy here. Essentially, if that continues to hold here, I could see this continue to break out. I like the chart setup so far. But again, it has more to do with whether or not you guys like the application fundamentally. I'm not here to just blindly promote it. If you guys are interested, you can learn about the utilities on the website. They have some details on the BitDCA website around the BitDCA token, investing, etc. So definitely take a look into that. And outside of that as well, another thing that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention, again, when we're talking about fundamental applications, is ZND. This is another one of our partners here on the channel. Now, ZND is focused on building an all-in-one financial ecosystem in the broader crypto space. Their goal has been essentially to build a platform where you can earn, trade, and within earning, being able to stake and engage in yield farming, being able to do all your core activities from one key application. They're a UK-based company. They have a lot of different features. Obviously, you can earn on your crypto, so being able to stake your crypto and being able to get some type of APR on an annualized basis. But outside of that as well, being able to engage in yield farming around the native token, and of course for trading. So the goal long-term is essentially to be able to have a wide range of exposure, being able to trade cryptocurrencies, tokens, stablecoins, as well as shares, ETFs, commodities, and metals, all in one application. Again, huge value add financial tech application that could really simplify the experience instead of having to be across 4 or 5 different applications. And they're also going to be having a borrowing feature, so you're able to essentially borrow off of your crypto, utilizing it as collateral in order to go out and be able to either spend that money in the short term as a short-term loan, or being able to invest further in assets on very moderate degrees of leverage. So that's essentially some of the offering for ZND. The platform itself really offers a great opportunity if you're looking to get that additional APR on your assets, if you're just generally a long-term holder. But outside of that as well, the ZND token has had a massive move here throughout the move back here in November. It was a massive move, and still right now market cap is still relatively small. So if you're interested, you can definitely take a look into the project here. Being a small cap project, as I'm really focused on a lot of the DeFi plays in the market, ZND kind of fits in that ball camp. I think it's one of the few narratives in the altcoin space that has any degree of like really interesting fundamental traction. So being in that broader DeFi category, I've been least keeping it on my radar here. And outside of that as well, they just recently launched on Gate.io. So if you're looking for a good exchange to trade it on, you can always consider trading it there. There's a lot of really interesting developments going on, so check out the link down below in the description, and make sure as well to follow them over on X in case you want to get any kind of updates around the project. And last but not least, I wanted to go ahead and bring it here to the macro picture. I want to bring it here to the weekly time frame. I want to turn off the drawings here, just look at our moving averages, because again, I want to bring you guys back here to center. we've got a lot of signs here that are putting me on edge a little bit. We've got, like, in crypto, the Bybit hack, the Trump meme coin launch that completely absorbed liquidity, as well as the Melania coin launch. You've got a lot of late stage things, the strategic reserve in crypto that are going on right now, the kind of buzzing headlines that draws in a lot of retail liquidity, which is used for an exit out of the market. And I'm also seeing here signs within the broader macro picture. Since back in November, equities have been flatlining here. Nvidia as well is continuing to flatline since back in June of 2024. For more than 8 months now, we've been pushing sideways here. And it's looking very clear as Nvidia is chopping around this 200. It is the second retest and the first 2 times we've ever had that since we kicked off the trend in January 2023 with lower highs each and every time. When I'm seeing market leadership like Nvidia that was consistently outpacing the S&P 500, starting to underperform the S&P 500, not to mention the S&P 500 is also starting to go down, this sends alarm bells to me, especially considering how stretched we are away from our accumulation moving average pocket, like the 200-week and the 100-month. If Nvidia comes back into this range, we're talking about more than a 50% haircut here. And that is absolutely within the realm of possibility, considering we have seen this time and time again for Nvidia. I probably don't need to be the one to tell you this, guys, that plays like Nvidia can make massive upside moves, but when they correct, they also have even bigger corrective moves. The last one was a 68% contraction, the prior one, and your 57% pullback. Don't think that this is too bearish here. And don't think for a moment, I really want to make this clear, guys, because there's a lot of people out there who are euphoric right now. And I'm only here to tell you guys my candid opinion. I'm not here to tell you what's going to happen tomorrow or this week, but more over the longer term. If Nvidia starts trending down here, if Apple and Microsoft, the big tech companies, start unwinding, if Meta and Amazon and Google also start unwinding, this is not only going to have negative ramifications for the broader amount of stocks, the broader stock market as a whole, but beyond that, it is going to have a negative impact on crypto. I can almost guarantee it, because in the same way Bitcoin found its bottom here in November 2022, the same time where Nvidia and the S&P 500 in stocks were bottoming, it is the same thing we need to consider, that when stocks are starting to top, you are going to likely see it follow through for crypto. That may not be what people want to hear, but at the end of the day, there's a strong correlation. It is also why Bitcoin topped in November 2021 alongside equities and also found its bottom in March of 2020. There's a strong correlation between the performance of all asset markets, guys. And if we ignore that, we are going to be caught in a really bad trap. And I don't want you guys losing the gains you've either made or the hard-earned money that you've earned and just are now starting to invest in the market. It's okay if you missed this past run. All you have to do is focus on building a nice cash position, waiting for that entry point, and you'll be able to make life-changing returns. Or start off small. Start off in a way, again, as we talked about, dollar cost averaging with a small amount of your capital where you can afford to take the downside because you'll be accumulating down here and over the long run. There are lots of different ways you can approach this, guys. But again, I just see all these visual signs here that are going on right now, that are just sending warning signs to me. I see the Bitcoin ETF outflows, the strategic reserve. Doesn't sit well with me. At a minimum, I think we're going to be seeing those couple months of slow but steady consolidation to the downside. If not, this is a short-term bump. Not much is going to materialize, and we're going to be correcting lower. We have no idea about the amounts of the strategic reserve. Even if this does go through, how much is the United States going to purchase? Who knows? Anyways, guys, I rambled out a good amount here today. I'm sorry if I got a little bit heated earlier. I try not to do that too often. I'm a pretty mellow-headed guy. But I think that should tell you something. Like, I've been a supporter of this industry for a long time, and to see something like this, I don't know. I would have thought we'd be somewhere different, Not trying to be too idealistic about it, but I would have thought we'd have more to show for. It is what it is, though. So I hope you guys have a phenomenal day wherever you are. Again, if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like. Check out our partners down below in the description. Until the next video, guys, I'll see you all right back here in the next one. Take care, everyone.